This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's just start. Holy cow, this is some of the heaviest, better stuff I've heard in a really long time.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm totally digging it. And when I was prepping for the day of doing things, it was definitely the soundtrack. So I appreciate we do it. Now that it's on the cusp here, it's out. What do you what's been the response to what people have heard so far?
This has been the best response we've had with any album so far, which is good. And we were able to actually pair that with some really good tours. And that's obviously helpful. Like we just announced yesterday, we're going out with Necrotic Gore Beast and Atoll in April. And then we got at least 2 more will be dropping here soon, I believe. So one of
Those
them
are in
is
the
a
States?
pretty big one.
You're-
I can't really. I mean, I'm not supposed to say.
No worries at all.
But no, the one that has dropped, the Necrotic Gore Beast and Atoll, will be in the States and Canada.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
All right, cool. So we'll just jump right in. So Truth or Consequences explores real-world horror through the lens of extreme metal. How do you approach translating such psychological and historical darkness into music without sort of glorifying it or bringing attention to that itself?
That's a really good question. It's also kind of a fine line because you don't want to put these guys on a pedestal. You're not worshiping them. You're learning about them, and you're discovering like what would make someone do something like that. And there's a million reasons. You have anything from displacement style killers such as Ed Kemper, who the second he killed his mom, he stopped killing everybody else, like people like that. Now, Truth or Consequences, that song is about David Parker Ray, and that's a hard subject to write about without glorifying it. I think I managed to do it, but I'm always going to be accused of that, I think, as well.
Right. I think, and as much as I didn't like watching it, there was, those films like the Dahmer reenactment or whatever they called it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of like along the same sort of thing, right? It's here. They're not really glorifying it, but too much for me, maybe.
I understand. Yeah. But yeah, the Dahmer one was pretty good. And, Dahmer's an interesting guy. If he would have got the help he needed at a younger age, he probably would have never done any of that stuff. So that, learning about that kind of stuff is important because you could prevent it. And obviously the older crimes, such as like the song King of the Rhine, which was on our Abhorrent Obsessions album, that was about Peter Curtin, which was turn of the century. And guys like that got away with 10 times more than they do now because we have learned and we have changed and we have treated. And so I'm not saying I'm out there treating anybody, but like I'm learning and we're learning, and it's through metal. So that's good, right?
And metal is so cathartic, I think, as a listener, and I'm sure probably as an artist as well, because I talk to a lot of people, they say it is.
For sure. Yeah. Most definitely.
Okay. Let's see. Slay Utterly feels like your most thematically unified and definitely most punishing track yet. What specific changes in writing or recording push the precision and the dynamics of the album beyond, what you guys had already done?
We didn't change anything about the writing process necessarily. It's always been the same. It's just we are growing maybe a little bit, becoming better writers, understanding what we're trying to achieve. And but we're pretty simple. Like, it's always been the same as far as getting together and getting the songs put together. It's pretty much been the same since of Abhorrent Obsessions.
You don't want to go back and rewrite the same record, though, right? Are you conscious about not, doing that?
Yeah, I would say so. Uh, uh, Musically, I think we definitely we we try to change maybe like two aspects on each album or something like that. Maybe not even necessarily consciously, like you said, but like we I think we do, and but also we want to keep that original sound because we don't want to disappoint people, but like we can't dive too much into slam and then we become a slam band, which we're not, which is awesome. So that's what we do. We put aspects of all this type of music into our songs, or try to. Hopefully we achieve it.
And while staying in the, Carrion Vael sort of ethos or whatever space, right?
Perfectly stated, sir.
Well, all right then. Let's see. Let's do this one. The album paints chaos as cyclical, brief calm punctuated by recurring barbarianism or barbarism. Do you see Slay Utterly as a commentary on human nature?
Well, it's a commentary on a certain aspect of human nature for sure, the very dark side, the darkest aspects of human nature, and human behavior is cyclical, and just like everything else, you know, obviously we change as humans, but it keeps coming back around.
I've got a couple out of the box questions I want to hit you with, if you don't mind. But before we go there, you taking this on the road?
Taking what the album on the road?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So the next show we have is with Rivers of Nile in Indianapolis, and um, that show we'll be doing three songs off of Slay Utterly, and we'll be doing three or maybe four songs off Slay Utterly on the Necrotic Gore tour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to it?
Oh yeah, I love playing the new stuff. Only people want to hear it, but also it's just fun to try to do new things as well. And the songs are good, like, so I'm happy to do them. So
Are you
you know,
incorporating stuff from, your full catalog, or is it just going to be
yeah,
mostly this record?
um, the last three albums. We don't do anything off of God Killer or Resurrection of the Doomed. Uh, mostly just because those are the least listened to songs. Um, so we don't play them.
And if you're ready, let's take a little left turn and have some fun.
All right, I'm down. Let's go.
If each song on Slay Utterly were a different method of psychological torment dreamt up by some cosmic entity, which track would you use to test your own sanity?
Let's see here. Wait, give me a second. I'm working my way through
Yeah.
this. Um, Test my own sanity. Uh, Man, not many of them. I'll tell you that. Probably maybe 40 Echoes. 40 Echoes is it's that's a fun song, but I mean, to test my own sanity, sure, yeah, that works.
Right. And then last one, it's suppose Slay Utterly were adapted into a twisted fairy tale for the far future. How would that story begin and what would the moral be?
The entirety of the album.
Mhm.
So that's an interesting question, because like it brings me back to when I wrote God Killer, not and I'll use that to answer this question. So God Killer is about Jack Parsons. Specifically, Jack Parsons hung out with L. Ron Hubbard. They were in a religious club, Thelimism, I believe, which is the religion that Aleister Crowley started on potentially the back of Madame Blavatsky. But they believed they were going out to the desert and they were going to do drugs for 11 days. And doing those drugs would help them bring forth the Scarlet Woman of Babylon, which Jack thought he would have a child with, which would bring forth the end of the world. That album is basically set up for a comic book already because it's just the most ridiculous shit in the world. Uh, so like that's how I wrote that album, was kind of fantasy. Like I didn't stick to the facts. Slay Utterly is much more based in reality. So um that would be, it would like, but you would have to like, I mean, if the entirety of the album were a story, it would have to be like some violent world. It would be like a Fallout situation where the movie where she's just working her way through scene after scene, just getting through um, evil shit. So it would be something like that.
So I imagine you do quite a bit of research for these songs, especially when you're writing these lyrics. And, even though they're maybe not factual or, they're mixing or crossing the line, do you ever find yourself too far down and how is it hard to get out of that mindset?
Not for me. So everything to my knowledge, has been pretty factual since Abhorrent. Like I don't change the stories too much. At worst I put my own perspective on the story potentially, but I try to stay like pretty factual in a creative way. Um, but I read a lot of books, usually about 2 books per person, I guess, give or take. Harold Schechter is a fantastic author. A lot of other great authors as well, but and I'll watch stuff, whatever it takes to spark an idea or a lyrical concept. But you know, mostly what I'm doing is like I'm watching that and I just keep a notebook, and when something catches my eye, I'll just write down like a sentence that somebody says, a quote,
Right.
a line from a book, of write down, maybe I'll highlight my books, and then I'll go back and I'll use all those highlighted areas or written down things to put together lyrics and try to tell a story that way. But lyrically, that's what we're doing.
Right, but you don't ever feel that you've gone too dark.
No, no, never felt like I've gone too dark.
They're still darker, huh?
I mean, the world's a dark place, man.
Man. You a kid, do you find this kind of music cathartic?
I
Or
do,
this?
yeah. Yeah, metal in general, but like, um, I think my blood pressure goes down when I'm watching a horror movie. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, it doesn't bother me. But or when I'm reading about this stuff, like I'm relaxed. Like, I know that's not the way everybody else is, though. Like, I understand that and I get that, and I don't uh I don't expect people to be like me.
Right. But to know that they're out there is crazy.
They're out there for sure. A lot more than we know about would be my guess.
Yeah. So what's next for you guys then? I know you got that show
Well,
coming up with the
yeah, the Rivers of Nile show, then the Necrotic Gore Beast this week. I don't know when you will put out the podcast, but this week I believe we'll be announcing probably our biggest tour we've ever been a part of. And then I would like to do 2 more tours this year, to support this. And I'll be honest, we already have the next album written, so we're on top of that, which is nice. Um, this was our last contractually obligated album on Unique Leader. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'll be time to like talk with them about, do they want to re-sign us or to more albums or move to a new label, or we like those dudes. They're all cool over there. I mean, you just keep growing. That's all it really matters. It's slow growth.
Are you
Um,
one of those bands that's always writing, or do you set aside time to do it?
always writing. Uh, I have a firm belief that you should try to write every single day. Uh, you know, even like maybe nothing comes out of it, but like you should just write every single day. It's just how I feel, but I'm sure not everybody feels that way, and that's fine. But like that's how we do it.
Okay. And if fans want to find you or anybody listening wants to find you guys, can you give us all your socials and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, just obviously we're on Facebook and Instagram. Those are probably the two easiest ways to get us. Um, Most of our videos are on the Unique Leader YouTube, but we do have our own YouTube. And I will always reply to you if you leave comments or what. I'll make sure I get back with you. So anybody that wants to holler.
That's great. I think that makes a difference when you have that sort of personal connection and they're not reaching out and getting band managers or auto bots or any of that other bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you message us on Facebook, you will get an automatic reply, but then I'll reply.
Right.
And that's only because like we don't want to leave people hanging, and but as long as it's not like some crazy request for blood or something, I'll hit you back.
You ever get those?
I hope not. Not yet that I'm aware of. We
Yeah.
had a funny we had a funny situation where a guy pocket messaged us a bunch of his nudes, which was
Oh,
you know unreciprocated, but
hey.
it happened. And it was pretty funny, but that happens, man. Shit happens. It was all right. I won't sell the guy out anymore, but
No, but I mean, those are the things you remember, I don't know, 20 years down the road and laugh, right?
it'd be hard to forget.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all I had. I thank you for taking the time. I'm sorry about the weird connection we got going on, but I appreciate your time. I do really dig the record.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.